Hello folks, how you doing? Hope you're doing better than me. My microphone committed suicide this morning, so that's a good start to the day. We are here in the global Mazda MX-5 fixed series at the brilliant Oulton Park, which is just a little drive away from me. It's a long old lap this, very challenging, lots of near-death experiences to enjoy here this week. If you like the video, please do give it a like. If you want to see more of this kind of thing, please do subscribe. And if you're feeling extra generous, maybe to help me buy a new microphone stand, you might feel the urge to buy me a cup of coffee. The link is in the description below. Have a really good week of racing, folks. If I don't see you before, hopefully I will see you out there on the track. Cheers. Okay, here we go with my 1 minute 52.330 here at Oulton Park in the MX-5. We're in the usual weather conditions for racing this week, and we haven't touched the brake bias. So as we're approaching turn 1, we are looking for this poster here. And as it starts, we're going to go into the brakes. And like a medium brake, we're going to come down to third gear. And then we are looking for the end of this Armco barrier here. And also this little dink on the left-hand side in the concrete on the edge of the grass. That's our turning point, and we're aiming for a late apex on the red curbing. Super easy to pick up an off-track here. We're absolutely fine like this, but much further, and you are going to get an off-track. You do need to keep it super tight to the end here, though, because there are more off tracks waiting on the outside there on exit. Can get a little bit messy turn 1. So we're coming over the hill, and we need to be quite careful because we've got a real dip in the track ahead, right where we want to initiate our braking. So it's best to initiate braking just before we go down, and then we're out quite quickly and onto the inside. And as we line ourselves up with the alternate layout, the straight there, we're back into the gas. We're building up pretty steadily, and we're tight to the inside. Horrible off track on exit of this corner. I don't know what they were thinking here. That curb is useless. If you go beyond the end of that curb, you're going to get an off track. Hate it. My least favourite corner exit, I think, in iRacing history. So we're going to keep the car over to the right. We're gunning up. We're going to get it up to fourth gear. and we're looking for these cones on the right. And what we're going to do is get ourselves right out wide here, and then just as we're turning the car in, we're going to lift, get the car pointing in right onto the end of this curb here, and you'll see how gradually I built up the accelerator there to make sure that we can maintain throttle through the rest of the corner. And then you can see this little patch of dirt on the left hand side here. After the car has cleared that, we're going to brake really heavily. You don't have to worry too much about being over to the left hand side of the track here. Mid track or even slightly to the right hand side on this occasion is actually perfectly fine. So we're heavily into the brakes, down to first gear, and once we hit first gear, we're pulling out of that brake really quite quickly to initiate that rotation. And then about mid corner, I think it's just as this dirty section on the inside curb starts, we really want to be starting to push the gas, but we're building it carefully because we need to be in this really heavily cambered section here to keep the car onto the inside. If you're not super tight on the inside here, the car is going to fall off the track really quickly. You need this heavy inside camber to keep the car glued down so you can really push the accelerator on exit and get up through the gears and still make the curb. Takes a lot of practice that, but once you get the hang of really nailing that inside edge, the car just sticks. So we're approaching this tricky little chicane here, and as you can see, there's a little patch where the track lightens. That's my marker to brake, and I'm braking towards the first tyre stack on the left hand side. And then as we're about to go over it, we can cut this corner right off here. As we're about to go over it, we're out of the brakes for a brief period of time. It's going to help balance the car out. We're not going to cause massive issues to the car, just freewheeling it over there. As soon as we land, we're back into the brakes again for a brief period as we eye up the second inside curb and that tyre stack there. And we're back out as tight as we can and on the gas on exit. It takes a little while to get the hang of that chicane. Lifting the brake really helps balancing the car, and it also helps your speed on entry. Just takes a little bit of getting used to get the braking right. So we're looking over to the 100 and the 50 board, between the 100 and the 50, a bit closer to the 50. We're going to hit the brakes. We're going to come down to first, and we're keeping a close eye on that first tyre stack. We've got another very treacherous chicane here. So first gear comes. We are very tight to this tyre stack, and we want to make sure we're exiting here nice and tight to the right hand side so we can really open up the left hander now. Out of the gas to get the car to rotate, and then very gradually building the accelerator again so that we can exit over to the left, because we want to free ourselves up for this right hander. So we're building up to second gear, we're all the way over, and then we're going to lift. We've got our eyes on the green sort of barrier end there, and that's what we're aiming at essentially. So we've lifted to initiate some rotation in the car. We're building up the gas again. We're catching the edge of this curb. Any more than this, and an off track's the least of your worries, because the back's going to want to really rotate, and you're going to end up spinning circles down the this little mini straight here. You can go over the curb on exit here a little ways, and then we're going to push up through to third. So under the bridge, and then we're going to let the car come out wide, and we want to be right over the right hand side of the track here, because we need to get the car as straight as we can approaching this section. If we're moving the car around too much on approach here, the balance in the car is going to be off, and we're going to initiate braking, and the car's not going to want to do what we want it to do. So we purposefully went out wide there to get ourselves straight here so the car is set and ready to do what we want it to do. So just at the end of this Armco, again with the green little barrier thing, we are going to brake, and we're going to bring the car down to third. We're not going to brake super heavily. And we're going to let the car rotate, and then by the end of the curb we want to be building up the accelerator, and we want to keep the car nice and tight here. This isn't a tight corner, so we can cut it off and keep the shortest route there. Plenty of curb on exit to play with. A nice little corner that takes a little bit of getting used to. So we're looking at the right turn sign here. Soon after that, we've got this little change in coloration on the track. That's our braking marker, and we're going to really brake heavily, get the car down to first gear. And then as soon as we hit first gear, bang, we're out of the brakes, quickly initiating rotation so that we can, by the end of this curb, be facing in the same direction and really get the hammer down in first gear. And then up through the gears again. Could have carried a bit more speed around there. There's a good few corners where I could have gained close to a tenth. I think I'm a few tenths short on my potential on this track. But it was a nice clean lap and I liked it. So that was my 152.330 here at the fabulous Oulton Park. Best of luck to you here this week. It's a tough one. It's a long lap. But I hope you do really well. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want more of this kind of thing, please do subscribe. Drop a comment below. Let us know how you're going on. And if you're feeling extra generous, please do consider buying me a coffee. There's a link in the description below. Cheers, folks. I'll see you next time.